Okay, let's proceed with our discussions here on Breakfast Live. We're now joined by Dr. Tirera Jingomvera, a representative from MAZM, and is here to discuss MAZM's involvement in West Advisors corporate sponsorship program. Dr. Jingomvera, a very good morning and welcome to Breakfast Live.
Good morning.
All right, let's talk about this particular program first of all. What is the genesis?
The genesis is there's a local NGO called West Advisors, and those they've been partnering with the Blantyre City Council for a number of years, but this time they've come on board on advocacy that the corporate sector to be sponsoring the campaign to clean up Blantyre of its waste.
Okay. Yeah. What kind of waste are we talking about?
It's mostly solid waste, organic waste, though there's non-organic waste as well. But this solid waste, it's a type of waste which can be reused and made into marketable products,
okay,
which is what West are doing.
Okay, fine. Let's talk about MAZM's involvement in more details now. In details, what exactly are you doing? What is your role as MAZM in all this?
MAZM has contributed towards a collection of waste. It has contributed about close to 5 million, which go towards the purchase of bins, skips, and also sponsor transportation of that waste to compositing site run by West Advisors. Yeah.
So people mostly know you as health insurance providers.
Yeah.
Is there any connection between the two?
Yeah, there's a connection in a 2 or 3 foot manner. This solid waste, when it seeps through water tables, is a public health hazard because it contributes towards public health diseases, especially diarrheal diseases, parasitic diseases. Also, when solid waste is not collected and treated, it's one of those. It's an important source of some of the emission gases, which contribute to the destruction of ozone layer, and whereby we are exposed to harmful rays from the sun, and it's part of the causes of increase in cancer rates in these days. So so it connects to us
as a health insurance provider.
Provider.
Okay, finally, we understand that you were on Friday. You had was it everything to do with the same event, or there was something else there?
Yeah, it was the same event. It was a signing ceremony for the contract. So that involved our CEO, Mr. Sidney Chikote, Bill Bray from West Advisors is the director there, the mayor of the city of Blantyre, Councillor Ndipo, and the director of health services from Blantyre City Council, Dr. Kanjunjunju. So it was a way of letting the public know what MAZM is doing, also to encourage to follow our example.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long will this program go on for?
Initially set for 3 months, and when we are successful with our goals, then we'll roll out the program to other cities.
Can members of the public contribute or help out?
Yeah, they can help out through West Advisors who are advocating this on behalf of Blantyre City Council.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Jingomvera, thank you very much for coming.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. We'll end this particular interview with efforts that the Blantyre City Council continues to make to keep the city clean. They have collaborated with West Advisors and Medical Society of Malawi. Through this collaboration, the institution plans to engage the corporate sector in sponsoring waste collection, bins, skips, and transport. Gary Samati has the details.
The Medical Society of Malawi has hit the ball rolling as they donated over 4 million kwacha to the initiative. The money is to be used for 80 bins, 1 skip, and 3 months of transportation from markets to the composting facility. Blantyre City Mayor, Wau Ndipo, said the continued efforts come as a recognition of the role that authorities believe they have for Malawians.
On behalf of Blantyre City Council and all the residents of Blantyre, we are very grateful, and we really thank MAZIM and West Advisors for this initiative. In fact, we had challenges in terms of garbage collection, and by coming to this our rescue, that the money being channeled to West Advisors will be, piloted in 2 markets. MAZIM has said that they will pay transport and whatever in waste collection to Blantyre and Timber markets, which generate a lot of refuse rather. To us, we are very grateful. Not only that, but you've noticed in the past, maybe about 3-4 months, that we had really challenges. Because of the pandemic had also hit us very hard. We were not able to collect enough so that maybe we could get rid of this refuse. So we are very happy, and I hope other also companies will make this good gesture, so that maybe we are talking today that MAZIM has taken Blantyre and Limbe markets. Maybe by tomorrow we hear one of the companies has also adopted one of the streets or 2. To us, we always say the city is not for us. The motto is we are giving back the city to the residents. So the residents, we have corporate responsibility for companies that we hope will come forward. We are hit hard by the pandemic. Previously, when we were coming in, I think in 2014, the city was very degenerated. We did our best. We've really regenerated to date. You would notice, you agree with me that the city which was there and now, quite different. But the past months, because of the COVID, we haven't been able to collect enough to fund this. Let me just tell you that much of the operations that are done from local generated revenue. So we're not able to collect enough because of the pandemic. Many could not do business.
Managing Director of West Advisors, Billy Bray, said the collection of waste is vital for healthy residents in the city.
Waste management is not just the city's responsibility. We need to learn waste management from young age. Like, we need to get more into the schools, and we've got plans to get into the schools with competitions. We've got trainers, facilitators who can come in alongside the schools, and we train people of how to make compost and production. There's a number of donors who's already agreed and has expressed strong interest that they said they'll come alongside that. But the issue comes in still to say, like, this is not just our responsibility in this. It's not just the council's responsibility. This is everybody's effort. Like, waste is really... Do you know that each individual creates 65 grams of waste, 650 grams of waste a day. So the total of that, like, per year, like, is mammoth. Per day is 450 tons of waste, like, for Blantyre. It's a really amazing amount of waste. So that waste can only be managed if we do it together. The message is simple. Like, in order to make a sustainable system, like, we need businesses to be able to function. Without business, there's not going to be a development. We need businesses to function. Business can only function if there's sufficient enough profit margin in there. We've operated the composting site for 2 years already. We've got experience and understand how much labor goes into separating waste. Unless we can look at the whole value chain, we can't produce compost cheap enough so it can get out to the farmers. So the real issue is, if everybody can work together towards creating compost from waste, then the compost can be cheap. But if we can't, then you can only serve a few market, a few kind of customers, big customers, who understands the value of compost on long term, who's got extra reserve cash, who can invest in restoring the soil before they start getting a return. So it's really important that in order to help the farmers, everybody has to contribute. But I think the beauty of economies, especially agrarian as ourselves, unless the farmers succeed, we're not going to succeed as a nation. So it's very important that our farmers do get the right kind of inputs at the right kind of prices. You know, again, I think it's easy to say where we're getting it wrong. I think what I like about the mayor's speech today is to say, like this is something practical. It's one thing to sing about something. It's one thing to do a nice plan. But the reality comes on, what are we doing today? Like everybody, like if I see someone throw out a paper, as a citizen, I know like that's got a problem on my health eventually. It might be small, but contributing everything together, it does make an impact. And you know, like what I love about the youth is they've got the energy to drive things. Man, like I've got teenagers in my house, and I know the kind of energy young people have to drive and bring about change. So that is really important that our youth do get this message and they do get on board to support us in this vision.
West Advisors is a local non-governmental organization focusing on sustainable system development for all forms of waste management.
Our reporter Gary Samati there with the issue to deal with the Blantyre City Council, which has collaborated with Waste Advisors and Medical Aid Society of Malawi, also known as MAZIM. Now on to other issues, as we had already alluded to. Today is dedicated to youth interventions. Ladies